What's going on, everybody? We are back with another episode. Make some noise, y'all. What? Like, being consistent and showing up for yourself, that's the big one. Like, that's the big one. I don't care what anyone says. Like, when you are doing it, the people that are sitting around watching, what can they say, right? Like, you need to be active. You need to be having some motion. You need to be creating movement. And when you do that, be proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself because small steps are still steps. And remember, the turtle wins the race. With that being said, welcome back to a daily dose of Dara. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not, welcome back. You know, we are glad to have supporters. We are glad to have people here that want to be here. We are glad to have people here that are good individuals, not because they're perfect, but because they are making progress. That's what this community is all about. We're not a community of people that are faking the funk or trying to prove something for the next person. No, we are just trying to see who we are with our actions, through love, out of love, always. So today I just wanted to get on here and just chop it up with you all, you know, share a little bit more of my personality and just see what y'all have going on. So put in the comments, update me on your life. How's everything been since you've been watching these videos? Has it been helping, encouraging you? What's different since the first time that you saw a video to now? And with that being said, it's a lot of changes that's been happening for me personally. You know, yesterday I got to watch the Jhené Aiko concert with my homegirl, and it's wild because I remember laying on my mama's couch, you know, when I was younger, and I would play songs like Fireworks by Alicia Keys. I believe Drake was in that one as well, and I would play songs with Jhené Aiko, you know, just to vibe. Like, it sometimes music speaks when words can't, you know, when there's nothing that you can say, you really can't put words to it. Sometimes that perfect song coming on just really changes the game. And it was back when you could plug your excuse my language, plug your earphones in your ear and just vibe out, you know. So that's kind of what I am pursuing in my life, just that nostalgia, you know, just things that remind you of the good times. And even sometimes it reminds you of the tough times, but when you look back, you see all that you've overcome. And so for me, that's what it's been recently, is just a reflection of how far I've grown, how far I've come, you know, what's different, what's the same, you know, because I feel like time changes all things. They used to say time heals all wounds, but that's not something that I really stand on or I've experienced. I just know that time changes all things. And so I like to look back and see what's different, what's the same, what relationships have maintained or friendships have, you know, lasted that test of time. Because time is one thing that shows your character. It's one thing that really will show you where you're at. It'll show you what you stand on, those principles. So, you know, that's all that I'm pursuing, is a life that's full of morality, a life that's full of me being true to myself, being true to what I've been placed on this earth for, being true to God, like my relationship with God, and just trying to navigate for real. Like, I'm not really into like teaching others what I haven't experienced, or I just want to be an asset to this community called life, and someone that's beneficial, so that way whenever you're in my shoes or going through some things, you can say, okay, like, I got the blueprint. I have somebody that's been there, done that, and I know that no matter what route I choose, I know what the outcome is going to be. Because a lot of times it feels like life is a gamble, you know, like, oh, let me try this out or whatever. But I feel like if you look at other people's life around you that have come before you, you know, even the ones that's coming after you, can kind of see what patterns is repeating, what patterns are, you know, replaying over and over. And I don't ever want to be on a hamster wheel. So, you know, I want to get off the hamster wheel and do this thing. So yeah, that's what's really been going on with me, just processing, thinking, evolving, and trying to navigate this thing called life, you know, with growth and with evolution. So yeah, so let's get into it. So one of the questions that, or one of the things that I really want to talk about is that this quote came to me one time when I was really busy focusing on everybody around me, my family specifically, you know, complaining, you know, talking, just me to God, me to me, in my room or whatever. But the thought came to my head like, they'll change when you change. And that's a fact. Whenever I changed as an individual, I learned my boundaries. I learned what I stood for, my worth, you know, like a diamond in the rough. I realized like only certain people know where to look for diamonds. Only certain people know the quality of diamonds, even when they're in a rough. Only certain people know the process of gold. You get what I'm saying? What they have to go through. Sometimes, you know, I had to go through the fire. And then on top of that, only certain people know where to find diamonds, pure diamonds, you know, naturally made diamonds. Not everybody knows where to find those at or what they look like before they get buffed up, you know, done right and then sold to a jeweler. You get what I'm saying? So I know now that not everybody's going to see my worth. But as long as I see my worth, as long as I understand how God views me, as long as I know where I want to go and trust myself, trust that intuition, trust that Holy Spirit is going to lead me, then I know that it's all going to work out. But I'm telling you, God has been my saving grace, because like everything I'm about right now is because God really helped me. Like that's the one thing I can't say, you know, where people failed, God helped. And so no matter what the things that I've gone through, no matter what I've experienced, no matter what I've really done or the mistakes I've made, the journey I've been on, because I feel like I've gone down many different roads. Some led back to the same thing. Some took me on a different journey and adventure. I'm appreciative. I'm grateful. That's really the secret. The secret ingredient is being grateful and present along the way. It has been for me at least. And so that's how I've been able to get my mind right, keep my mind right, and learn to be a steward, learn to be a student of this journey. Is by being grateful, because I'm not perfect. Like I said, I've come a long way, and I think that we all have, especially if you're watching this video was meant to find you. Like you can't worry about the stuff that you used to do, used to say, whatever. You can take accountability and you can right those wrongs, you know, by changing, asking God to change your heart posture, you know, things of that nature. But you have to be willing to put your feet down, stand on those 10 toes, and do the work. You have to be willing to look up instead of looking down, walking around, and catch the signs, you know. Catch the signs that everything is going to be all right. You know, catch the 555s. Catch the secret, how you say it? Come on. Synchronicities. Okay. Catch the patterns. When things are in sync, peep game, you know. It's always going to be signs out there that you're supported and signs that, you know, you're meant to be here. So don't give up. Don't give up. It's no need to give up, because it gets better. If you want it to get better, it's about what you want, you know. And I talked a little bit about this in my last video, just about how I felt like I had to sit in the season I was in. But in reality, now I want to sit in the goodness. Now I want to sit in the grace. Now I want to sit in the favor. Now I want to get that routine so that way I can elevate. You know, I want to create opportunities for me to grow, and for goodness to find me, mercy to find me, blessings to find me, wisdom to find me, money to find me, and all those things to multiply through me. That's where I'm at now. So hopefully this next video, I ain't even gonna speak on it, but my goal is to create a routine. My goal is to create something that is repetitively taking me in the right direction. So that's the goal. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get on here and just chop it up with you all a little bit about, is just setting those goals, following that vision, and, you know, leaving the past in the past. What are you talking about now? Where is your speech at now? Start paying attention to how you are, not who you believe you are, but start noticing your behavior. Start noticing what you talk about. Start noticing what you're watching on social media. It's springtime, my favorite time. It might be time for that spring cleaning. It might be time to do inventory over the friends in your life, over the people you're talking to, over the people you're spending time around. Growing up, my mama always said, show me your 5 people that you talk to on a daily or the most. Show me the 5 people you hang around the most, and I'll show you who you are. Very simple. And that's a fact. You know, she also used to say, one bad apple will spoil the whole basket. One bad apple will spoil the whole basket. One bad apple will spoil the whole basket. You know, I had to say it a couple times because I felt like somebody missed it. But it's the truth, you know. And you don't have to believe it. You get to choose what you believe. But this is stuff that I know. This is stuff that I've experienced. I'm not just taking somebody's word for it and being like, oh, this is what it is because I've heard this. Or no, I've seen it. I've been shown these things. I've seen it through myself. I've seen how who you're associated with can take you on a whole nother track that some people have never bounced back from. They've never come back from the friendships that they've had. They've never come back from the one decision they made that cost them their whole life. They've never come back from it. And, you know, I don't want to be that person. I believe that every story I've heard, every documentary I've seen, every time a friend has told me some advice that was good advice, that's stuff to learn from. And the biggest blessing that you can give this earth, that I can give this earth, is to take that and apply it, because those people didn't go through that for no reason. I am the reason I ain't gonna say it like that, but I'll say that sometimes people go through hard times, and it helps people like me. It helps people like me learn what not to do, because one mistake can cost you. Sometimes people, they were just going through life and their whole life was altered for no specific reason, for no apparent reason, you know, just based on association or just based on wrong place, wrong time. Innocent people, you know, good people who have something to offer this world. And it's unfortunate and it's sad. And so the thing that I love to do because of the love that's in me is I like to learn from it. I like to hopefully cross paths with these people and be able to say, like, your story helped me. It helped somebody like me not go down that path. So thank you. Thank you for the sacrifices you had to make. Thank you for taking it on the chin. Thank you for being open with sharing your story, because people like me need to know, because nobody's above the program. Anything can happen at any time. No matter if you're a good person, bad person, whatever, things happen. Things happen. And I don't want to just be someone that things just happen to negatively. I want to be someone that great things just happen to. Amazing things just happen to. Blessings come, because everybody watching knows, okay, Dara's going to multiply that money. Dara's going to multiply that favor. Dara's going to multiply that love. Dara's going to give out the grace that she was shown. Dara's going to love others better than she was loved. You know, because when things are deeply rooted in me, that's what comes out. You know, it's that subconscious behavior that comes out and rises to the surface when you're being put to the test. And I want my subconscious mind, my subconscious heart, my subconscious being to be everything good that I am. I don't want to live no secret lie, no secret life where I'm not who I really am. I don't want to portray to be somebody that I'm not, because I've done that before and it don't feel good. It don't feel good. It doesn't feel good to live in regret. It doesn't feel good to live in worry, to constantly be looking back over my decisions and being like, oh, I should have said this differently. Oh, I should have did this differently. Oh, I should have, worded this differently, reworded that. I don't like to live that way. You know, I don't like to have to go back and apologize. Like, I'll do it, because that's the type of woman I am. I'm going to own that. I'm going to take accountability. But what I've learned through all of that is that the biggest blessing to someone you've wronged is change behavior. The biggest blessing to someone you've hurt is change behavior. So that way, when you do apologize and when you do own it, you can speak on that. Like, I know I was wrong because I'm a new person and I understand how that could have hurt you. Because who I am now, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't stand for that. You get what I'm saying? I think that's the biggest benefit to society, is being someone that is morally good. Not in a way where you, like I said, where you don't make mistakes, but in a way where you learn from them. You grow from them, from the inside out. Not who you just think, oh, I'm doing these actions, whoop the whoop. No, when you actually sit down and you say, what was the root of that behavior? And then when you look at the 8 dimensions of wellness, where do you land on that? Are you spiritually well, emotionally well, occupationally well? Like, there's so many things that you can ask yourself. Look it up. You know, when you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where do you fall on that? Do you have food, safety? Like, do you have your needs met to be out of this fight, flight, or freeze mode? You get what I'm saying? Are you still in defense about some things? If you feel yourself tense up when a person's name is said, you feel yourself tense up when somebody's telling you about yourself, evaluate that. Is it because they're speaking wrong, or is it because they've said something right that you didn't like? It's that time to do inventory over yourself, your life. What do you like? What do you not like? You know, write that stuff down. You know, it's certain things that we have to put in a work to do to get to the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told myself, okay, I want to get in a routine of working out. Then I need to do that. I need to keep my word to myself because I matter the most in my world. You get what I mean? Like, it's okay if I don't matter the most to other people who don't know me, because I'm treating myself like I am a hidden gem, like I am worth everything, because I am. I know my heart. I know my behaviors. You know, I know my lows. I know my highs, and I'm proud to be who I am in a way that makes me humble, in a way that makes me gracious and kind, in a way that makes me thankful and appreciative. You know, I was just talking to my homegirl about this earlier today. It's like, man, I hear myself talking to you, and I'm like, it's some more stuff I need to let go of. It's some more hurt I need to let go of. There's some more pain that I need to feel, think about, and move forward from. But that'll come in due time. It really will. And that's the thing that I hold on to hope with, because hope keeps me in a firm foundation. You know, like an anchor, you know, with the wandering sea. It keeps me rooted, you know, because hope is like a reflection of joy. And joy is something deep rooted. Serenity in your soul is deep rooted. Those are priceless. Those are things that money can't buy. And I saw this quote, matter of fact, or I heard this quote today. It said, I'm paraphrasing. It said, money can do a lot of things, but money can't buy God. And that's a fact. You know, when you think of God, when you think of all those things, that's eternal. That's above the program. That's long lasting. That's, you know, just a firm foundation for all things good. I think about intention. I think about growth. I think about evolution of a thing. I think about who a person is at the core. At the core. Because that's what matters. And then what direction does this person want to go in life? That's like when I talked about doing inventory earlier. What direction does this person want to go? What direction is this person's life going? You know, you have to assess yourself, assess others. I didn't say judge. I didn't say shame. None of that, you know, because that's a reflection of what's in you. But assess it. See what it is for what it is. And then you can navigate where you want to go. It's all about, where do you want to go? What do you want? That's the wonderful thing about life, is it is about you. You know, your life is about you, but it doesn't have to be in a way that is obnoxiously, you know, boastful or, you know, overwhelming. It can be in a way that is peaceful and, you know, just solid. So I don't know. That's really what I wanted to get on here and talk about. Is just really, like, I would say putting y'all on game, but every time I talk, it's putting me on game. You know, I'm learning. And remember, the original goal was to get on here, talk so I can heal. My goal is for healing to flow through me, healing to flow to me, you know, like a revolving door. What I put out, I want to get back. And that's why I'm choosing to put out the good in me. I'm choosing to put out the good and talk about the bad, and really evaluate the growth and be honest with you, because I know I'm going to make it. I know I'm going to get from this life what I'm looking for, you know, because I know my direction now. I know where I'm headed now. So I want to have documentation of who I really am at the core. Because they say, like, oh, money changes or this or that, but I want to always be me. That's my goal. I want to always be me, rooted and grounded. And I only want things around me that's changing me for the better. That's moving me in a better direction. I don't want to be changed for the worse and, you know, just be somebody who I'm not. That ain't me. You know, I'm bold, I'm this, I'm kind, I'm all these things, but, you know, I just can't wait to see who I am and get to know myself in every stage of life, and, you know, get to know myself through different avenues, and, you know, my supporters, my team, my family, the people that, my loved ones, you know, I want you all to know that this is purposeful. This is not a game. If it's from me, it's purposeful. It's not a game. This is real. This is real. So, yeah, I'm so happy that you watched. If you made it all the way through, thank you so much. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You know, again, if you're commenting things, make sure it's wholesome, uplifting. You know, we don't do the trolling. We don't do the negativity, the shame. We don't do all that over here. So, because like I said, what's in you will come out. So whenever you're in that comment section, whenever you're in life, the challenge is to put out good and evaluate the bad, and figure out what's going on with your own heart. So peace and love always.